wait up a minute, I think that I'm feeling sick.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Allie, and today I am back for another readathon vlog. It's gonna come at you guys rather late because I am so far behind on editing and posting. It's not even funny, so I apologize. But this is a readathon hosted by the lovely Jan Agaton. I will have her tagged down below. This is her annual Jante's Inferno. I joined last year for the first time and had so much fun that I had to join again. What this is a readathon where you are trying to escape the 9 levels of hell. You start at level 9 and you work your way down to level 1 to get out of hell. This readathon this year is a week long. It is running from February 6th to the 13th, and there is a prompt for each level of hell. So yeah, there's prompts. I will take you guys along with those prompts, and I'm not prepared for a TBR. I have books in mind that I really want to get to, that I've been saying I was going to get to for so long, and I think that they're going to be able to fill these prompts, but we're winging it. What I will say is this might not be as adventurous as I was last year with having so many books. I'm gonna try to go for that, but I definitely think I'm going to be doubling up prompts this year for sure. I did that a little bit last year, but my TBR last year was still pretty hefty. So I'm hoping to have a good size one, but we do just have a week, so we will see. With that being said, I am starting with the first 2. Also, before we get into that, rules are you can double up prompts, but they have to be consecutive, meaning you can't double up level 9 of Hell's prompt with level 7 Hell's prompt. You have to do level 8 and 9 together for a book. And then, of course, the very last level is 1 more book, so you can't double up on that prompt. If that makes sense. She does have a whole video for it, and if you missed it this year, you should definitely check it out for next year. It is currently the 5th. This readathon technically starts tomorrow, but I have already started my first book, so I did want to jump in and kind of get a head start on this, but also tell you guys I am going out with a friend, and we are so stoked. I think we're gonna go out for some sushi, and then our local library is hosting these like monthly craft nights now, which is so freaking cool. Tonight is the first one. It is the book Bedazzle. So, you know, like all of like the book bedazzlings where you put like the little gems all in the books. Yeah, me and my friends have been saying we're gonna do this for so long, and we still have never gotten to it. So for the first time, I'm going to be doing that tonight with my friend and a bunch of strangers at the library, but I am super stoked and also excited and nervous to get out of my comfort zone and fight the social anxiety. For that, I am going to be taking my copy of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I have like 3 or 4 copies of this at this point, so I thought about just taking one of my paperbacks. I think I'm gonna be bold and take my signed copy, and hopefully I don't screw this up. The only downfall is that I don't know if I want to cover the whole book in gems or not, because I feel like I'm going to use every single bit of the black gems that they have, and I don't really know what to expect, like how much supplies and stuff like that they're gonna have. So yeah. I think my friend's bringing the same book too, so we're gonna be twinsies. I don't know, I'm just gonna wing it and see what happens. It's like my all-time favorite book, so it's gonna be a good time, and I wanted to take you guys and include it in this vlog. That's why I'm starting a day early. But wait, there's more. I apologize if you can hear my cat scratching on her post. So level 9 is a backlist book. So this is just a book that has been out for quite a while. It's not something new that you're buying. And then a dark premise is level 8. I am cheating a little bit. Listen, this year I am being productive, and I am trying to do the whole 2 birds, 2 birds, 1 stone ordeal. So listen, I have to read a book for a book club, so I really wanted to fit it into this readathon, and get to it. So that's what I'm doing. I don't physically own this book, is why I feel like it's a little bit of a cheat because of like a backlist book, but technically it doesn't say a backlist book that you own, it just says a backlist book. So it is a book that's been out for quite a while now. And it's horror. It does have a dark premise to it. So technically it does count for level 9 and 8, and you can't tell me differently. I mean, you can, but I'm still gonna read it. This is The Hollow Kind by Andy Davidson. I have this checked out from my Hoopla app, so I'm going to be going full audio. I did look in the Discord for the book club in the Void. I've mentioned this book club so many times on my channel, so I'm sorry if this is a broken record, but it is hosted by Sarah, Voided Lux on Instagram, and yeah, it's just in the Void. There is quarterly books that we read, and we meet over Zoom, so it's a virtual book club. And it's a great time. Sadly, I don't know if I'm gonna make it to this one or not, but I still would like to read the book for my quarter. This is a little bit of a bigger book. I'm realizing now, looking on Goodreads, it is 448 pages. So I'm in for a time for my first book, but you know what? It's gonna clear 2 prompts, so I'm okay with it. This published in 2022, so it is a little bit of a backlist, and I have never read anything by Andy Davidson, so I'm excited. I did get on the Discord for the book club, and people were saying that some people were saying it was kind of slow getting started, and kind of already having mixed feelings on it. So I am interested to see where it goes, but says it is an epic horror novel about the spectacular decline of the Redfern family, haunted by an ancient evil. Nellie Gardner is looking for a way out of an abusive marriage. Ooh, it's gonna be deep. When she learns that her long-lost grandfather, August Redfern, has willed her his turpentine estate. She throws everything she can think of in a bag and flees to Georgia with her 11-year-old son, Max, in tow. It turns out that the estate is a decrepit farmhouse on 1,000 acres of old pine forest, but Nellie is thrilled about the chance for a fresh start for her and Max, and a chance to be for a happy home she never had. So it takes her a while to notice the strange scratching in the walls, the faint whispering at night, how the forest is eerily quiet, but Max sees what his mother can't. They are no safer here than they had been in South Carolina. In fact, things might be even worse. There's something wrong with the Redfern Hill. Something lurks beneath the soil, ancient and hungry, with the power to corrupt hearts and destroy souls. It is the true legacy of Redfern Hill, a kingdom of grief and death into which Nellie's own blood has granted her the key. I'm excited. It says it's a gothic fable. I am about, I don't know, if I had to guess, like 20-30% of the way in. It definitely is the setup so far. We've met Nellie and Max. It is 1980 something. And for part like 1, we're kind of getting to know them, and we know that they're fleeing from something. I feel like it wasn't really discussed heavily. There is kind of like this quote about an abandoned father, or having a life without a father, that kind of hit a little deep. But besides that, it's been very vague, but they have reached this place, and she has thought to herself, like, I don't think he'll be able to find us. Like, and all the times we've talked, I've told him about my grandfather's acres, but like not necessarily where it's at. So I think we're good and we're safe. We've kind of gotten to know Max a little bit. He is starting to kind of like question some things and find some things around the house. But the part that I wasn't expecting is that we jump timelines and we go back to like 1817 or something. I want to say that's correct. I could be getting the dates wrong because I am reading this via audiobook, so I am so sorry if I am. It goes way back in time to like the beginning when they get all of these acres, and it's like about her, I'm assuming her great-grandfather's story, and it's been interesting so far. A little draggy, a little boring, but I'm still intrigued. I'm excited to see where it goes. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading as I can tonight, and probably some tomorrow. So I don't know when I'll check in next, but I am excited to get this readathon going. Thank you to Jan for hosting. I'm really excited to participate. And I'm gonna go bejewel this book, and hopefully it turns out good, and I will have something to show you guys the next time I see you.
It's automatic driving to your house. I'm gonna die in LA traffic, watch me crash my fucking car into your couch. Don't wanna finish up this episode before you cut me out. I'm still done cause I'm way. You can never take me. I'm just living life, I guess a bottle wouldn't break me. Thinking about 1,000 reasons why you probably hate me. And if you pull up, I'll be your biggest fan, but shoulda, coulda.
Back home, touched up my makeup a little bit because I was looking kind of rough after dinner. It was such a good time. It was a little awkward. There was so many people that showed up, which is amazing, you know, for a library event. But when we got there, we were literally like right on time. I pulled up early, but I waited on her to walk in, and there was so many people that like so much of the supplies were already like gone. We had to end up using, we had like these little trays, and we would dump our gems that we were using on it, and then we would squeeze out a little bit of glue next to it, and then all of the tools were gone and being used, so we had to use crayons. You would dip one side of the crayon in the glue and like the tip of the crayon, and then tap it to like the book, and then like flip it over and like push down to pick up the gem and then put it on there, if that makes sense. That's how we ended up doing it, but nonetheless, it was still really fun. It was cool to do it with a friend, and I can't wait for next month's. Next month's is, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but lino print, I think is how it's called. It's kind of like those blocks of, I don't even know what, they look like erasers that you carve out and you like make stamps. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, apparently it's like the first Thursday of every month, so we are excited to go back. That being said, earlier I forgot to tell you guys have seen it in a couple of my past videos, I think, at this point. I filmed in front of it a couple times, but I have been moving all my books around. There is talk that we're getting new couches, like this coming week or next week, depending on like the weather. I'm so excited. More on that, but because of that, I'm moving around all of my books on my bookshelf. I'm going to tackle the living room this week, but I moved like a bunch of like my fantasy books and some classics and stuff like that in my like dining room kitchen area. So I thought I would show you guys. Sorry, my cat's bowls and stuff are down there, but I have like some classics and some fantasy and stuff, and then, you know, more going up. But yes, there is some taken out. But you guys, I also decorated the top a little bit. Sorry if it's dusty, it's been a minute. And it's just, I don't know, it's very witchy. Since I don't really use my office downstairs as much anymore, besides just kind of like filming backgrounds for podcast things, when I eventually get back to that, I did bring up some of my decor from down there that I just was really missing seeing every single day. And so I brought up like these little mirrors, my strange and unusual cross stitch that I made. I love so much. The book that I painted, so cool. I still love, I did these too. Yeah, just kind of like a little witchy corner. And then also, you guys, look how my book turned out. Isn't it cool? Definitely could be better. The amount of time that we had, I was like, there's no way in hell I am going to fill this entire book. So we ended up just doing her name. And then as you can see, I put little gems on each star. She actually like filled out the whole constellation, and that was really cool too. They both just turned out so good. I love them so much. And she's going to be displayed there because she is gorgeous. It was a good time, and I did risk it for the biscuit, you guys, and I took my signed copy. So it is now bejeweled. There was so many cool books that people were doing, but there was a girl across from us that we talked to for a little while. She was doing the entire cover of Twilight. She probably had like this much of the book done when we left. It was so funny, but like the dedication, if she finishes that, I would love to see. But of course, like the social anxiety, I was like, I can't ask this person to be friends. She's gonna think I'm weird, but yeah, it was fun. Hello, you guys. Do not mind my appearance. It is later on in the afternoon. If you hear noise, my kids are currently brushing teeth, getting ready for bed. So I wanted to check in for a minute. This shelf is so bad, you guys. This is like my perfume shelf in my bedroom. It's become like the catch-all at this point. There's jewelry everywhere. There's like different headbands for me doing my skincare, and then just for some reason walking in here and taking them off and putting them on here. We got some Vaseline lip balm. There's all kinds of just random stuff on this. Plus, like, I don't know if you guys can see that, how dusty. This thing gets so dusty, and I don't know why. It gets so bad I have to dust it non-stop. So I'm doing that with my little duster. And I want to talk to you guys because it's been a couple of days since I've left you guys. Also, don't mind behind me, I have an Amazon package box. I'm actually pretty sure it's empty, but I'm pretty sure my cats were dragging it around that I have to clean up. A couple other things behind me. But anyways, we're here for the books. I did in fact finish The Hollow Kind. So I wanted to talk to you guys about it briefly. It was a lot. Definitely not what I thought it was. It wasn't a bad book. It just, I feel like for me, like it really, the first like half of it really caught my attention. I think the hard part is reading a book like The Elementals by Michael McDowell and then jumping into The Hollow Kind, like closely like back to back, was kind of stupid on my part because they have some of like the same things going on as far as like weird things happening at like a house and on this land and stuff like that, that I had a little bit more, I guess, of a hard time like keeping my attention because I was like, The Elementals was only like 200 and something pages, but then we jump into this, The Hollow Kind, which you guys know from the last clip was like 400 to 500 pages, something like that. I did have the audiobook for it. It was good, a really good audiobook, but it still just seemed to really drag on. We have this family dynamic going on where it's a mother running away with her son, and there's a lot of trauma that goes into that, and also like the trauma that she experienced as a kid and all of it kind of like unfolding too was a lot. I enjoyed my time with it for the most part, but we did get kind of weird cosmic sci-fi going on with it that I didn't hate. I actually enjoyed the like cosmic horror elements that we had going on, but there was times where I was just like, what is going on? I feel like this ends up being a lot more confusing than what I originally anticipated because of the jumping timelines of going back in time to, you know, kind of give us, you know, the backstory of this land and this house and its dark hidden secrets. Anyways, I had an okay time with it. I think I am landing at a 3-star, but I will say, go into this one, that mindset of it's kind of one of those weird horror that takes on trauma and family bonds, and it has dark history and definitely goes more into the cosmic sci-fi type of horror that you kind of have to like. But it's kind of a slower burn, and I think for me, I would say more people will probably enjoy this one. It's beautifully written. I think it's just the fact that I've read so many like slow burns lately, and then also reading books that are similar, I think it's just kind of putting me into okay, I need something different. So I think that's why it's not hitting as hard for me, but I can appreciate what was there. That being said, I am obsessed with these loaded teas that one of our local shops has. It has caffeine too, so I am gonna regret this when I can't go to bed tonight. But so we completed level 9 and 8. Level 7 is part of a trilogy. So yeah, just a book from a trilogy. You could read the first book, you could read the second book if you want to continue a series you've already started, or read the last one to wrap it up. And then level 6 is a red or orange cover. So I'm once again doubling up with these two. I picked a book that is the first book in a trilogy. I'm pretty sure this is a trilogy, and I'm so sorry if it's not. I do know book 2 is out, and on Goodreads there is a thing about a thing about the third book. There's just no cover, and I don't know if we have an official date yet. So I think it's just a trilogy and not a series. But as of right now, there's only 3 books, 2 out, and then 1 that's not fully, I guess, announced. And the cover is more red, and that is Phantasma by Kaylie Smith. I always want to say Kaylie Smith, and I don't know why, but Kaylie Smith. I have the Book of the Month edition. This actually, I think, won. I think it says it on the back. Yeah, the Lolly for 2024. Oh, it was a finalist. Because it just says Book of the Year 2024 finalist. I don't know. Anyways, either way, it was one of the finalists, and I've heard very mixed emotions on this. I feel like a lot of people who have negative things to say, though, it's because, I guess I'll hold the cover up for you guys. It's because it's not their cup of tea. So they're like, yeah, these books don't usually work out for me. Where I'm somebody that I like the Alex Stern from Lee Bardugo, the Ninth House and Hellbent. Cannot wait for the third one, Deadbeat, later this year. I don't know, I've just been enjoying more darker fantasy, and then if you throw in a little bit of romance, I've been getting with the spice a little bit more. It just has to work, though. So I'm kind of excited about this one. I will get into the synopsis while I continue dusting. Phantasma only has 2 rules: stay alive and don't fall in love. Ophelia discovers her mother brutally murdered. There is no time to grieve. She has inherited the family's fearsome magic and enormous debt. Circumstances go from dire to deadly, however, when Ophelia's sister decides to pay off the loan by entering Phantasma, a competition where contestants rarely escape alive and the victor is granted a single wish. The only way for Ophelia to save her sister is to win, but Phantasma is a cursed manor full of twisting corridors, lavish ballrooms staffed by enticing demons and fatal temptations, and Ophelia must conquer all 9 floors to succeed if her fears don't overtake her first. When a charming, arrogant stranger claims he can help, Ophelia knows better than to trust him, but with her sister's life on the line, Ophelia can't afford to turn him away. She'll just need to ignore the overwhelming dark attraction drawing them closer and closer together, because in Phantasma, the only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. A big reason I chose this one is for the 9 levels, and there's already a mention of it. I'm not very far in. I've only made it like 3 chapters in. Really not that far in, but she did mention 9 levels of hell, and so I thought that was interesting to go along with this readathon. But also, after the content warning page, there is the hierarchy of paranormal beings, which is also really cool. There's the king of the devils, the prince of the devils, the demons, who are offsprings of a devil and another paranormal being. There's wraiths, offsprings of a demon and another paranormal being, and then there's immortal paranormal beings and mortal paranormal beings. So if you're immortal, you're a vampire, a shapeshifter, a familiar, or a ghost. And if you're mortal, you are a necromancer, seers, witches, or specters. And there's also classifications of the ghosts. There's phantoms, poltergeists, apparitions, ghouls. It is so cool. I feel like world building wise, a little overwhelming, but I love this type of shit. Like, I'm eating this up. I love it. So we've met the sisters, Ophelia and Genevieve, I think is her sister's name. They're necromancers, and they found their mother dead. They are right now having her funeral. So we haven't even got to like this competition. And I'm going to be just really straightforward with you guys. When when it comes to fantasy and I pick up a book and it right off the bat is like a competition, I automatically am just like, no. I don't know what it is. I want something more than just that. I feel like fantasy so many times is copy-paste competition and games or something along that line that I'm just like, ugh. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I also find it really interesting that her sister is the one joining the competition. So like, are we really gonna follow her sister, or are we just gonna follow Ophelia falling in love for some type of a dark entity? I don't know. I am excited to see where it goes though, and to check off 2 more levels of hell. And I have lots to do. So hopefully I make some progress on some other things too while I'm at it. I am at the point to where my roots are growing out so far. And this is horrible lighting, so I apologize. Yeah, my roots are growing out and I'm kind of just like washing the red out at this point. It's become less and less red with every wash. That I don't know what to do with it. I'm really itching to experiment with a new color, but I don't know. I'm thinking about just going for it and going pink because I've always wanted to try pink and I've never done pink. So maybe, or I'm just gonna go back to red. I don't know. Right now, I think I'm just going to work on fading it out a little bit more in case I do want to go to a different color. It is just wild. I need to style it and make some progress on this book. And who knows, maybe I'll fly through it. It is another beefy one. I'm picking such big ones for this readathon. It's not even funny. Yeah, it's almost 500 pages. Hello, welcome back. I am flying through this, you guys, and don't mind me, it's just so busy and I have to just keep going. So I'm going to talk to you guys about this book so far, but I'm also going to be making burgers. I'm hoping my meat is thawed. It is. I apologize if you don't like to see raw meat too. I know that that's an ick for some people. Before I start this, you guys, look how far I am. I've read all of that. So I only have that much left over here of Phantasma. I'm actually having quite the time with this. I feel like I'm just so far away from you guys. I'm having quite the time with it. It's very copy-paste of like your average fantasy book. Like, we have these sisters and one of them makes this decision because they're in debt and it's her fault to go and join this deadly competition where there's these, not really games, but like quests. I don't know. There's like, they have to complete or compete and complete these like things that are, you know, dangerous, and in the end, they're granted a wish or whatever. And like I mentioned in the last part is, you know, this is the world building of like demons and devils and ghosts and, you know, stuff like that. So our sisters are actually necromancers. And so the one, she goes and joins Phantasma behind the other sister's back. And so the other one goes and joins too, but we haven't seen the other sister. So they're competing and she's doing like these quests and stuff. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm checking out a lot when it comes to like the quest and stuff like that. Like, they're cool, but like, I feel like it's another fantasy book that I'm just gonna kind of forget what they were. I know that there was like a chessboard style one. There's like riddles that they have to kind of like solve, and she's met this devil named, I think, Sincere, I think is his name. She calls him Sin. And she was drawn, well, he was drawn to her. She's met a ghost, a phantom. And I don't know, it's kind of doing it for me. I didn't know I would be so giddy and like this way about Ghost Boy, but I mean, hear me out. Danny Phantom. I liked it. With that being said, this book is spicy. It's very spicy and not always cringe, but mostly cringe. But at the same time, I find myself sitting there like, okay, pop off. Whole time. It's reminding me of the amount of excitement I had reading Butcher and Blackbird. Would I broadly say that's a 5-star book? Hell no. Did I give it 5 stars? Yes. So that's just where I'm at right now. I feel like if you're gonna get me into fantasy, you know, one way to do it would be to have a dark world like hell and a place like hell where, you know, you're doing this copy-paste fantasy competition bullshit. So I'm not bored with it. And honestly, I have the audiobook and the book and it's reading so fast. So like I'm enjoying my time with it. And as of right now, would definitely continue reading. And Book Outlet does their like $5.99 sale, and I've seen the books on there. So I might see if I can grab the second one. I feel like there was more to say, and I have gotten so bad about not taking notes again. I will say I have an ick with Ghost Boy. You know, his name is Blackwell. Ghost Boy, though, is what I'm going to be calling him. I have an ick with him. He keeps calling her Angel, and I get it. They're demons and devils and ghosts and whatever, and she's this perfect little necromancer that he's drawn to. So he calls her Angel. But like, even in bed, Angel, I'm not vibing with that. With that being said, I have made it so far that we've already even gotten to like the 3rd act conflict at this point. And I will say, it's not bad. It's actually like, again, it's kind of like another cliche fantasy thing. Obviously, for spoiler reasons, I'm not going to say what it is. But I'm not a big fantasy reader, and I've read similar, you know? But it's different because of this world building and what this means to these characters and to the things that they're going through. And I will say, when I'm actually listening, I really am enjoying my time in this world and with this Phantasma. And I like that. I wish I could show you guys, but I don't want to get my book nasty. But it's actually like broken down into sections. Like right now I'm in level 6. So it's like the levels of hell. So again, like I said earlier in the last part, this is the perfect pick for this readathon. But it also does like day 1 at Phantasma and stuff like that. So like Phantasma is what the place is like called. Anyways, when they're describing Phantasma and like this system and how everything works, I'm on board with it. I think it's cool. It's interesting. But me now, if you ask me like what competitions they're having, or like you ask me a certain detail about Phantasma, I can't tell you. Like, I have no idea. I just know that while I'm reading it, I am vibing. Maybe it'll be like a future reread, like revisit, where I'm like, now I want to focus in and take in all of like the extra things to like the world building seriously. But I'm just kind of in it for the vibes right now, and I'm really enjoying myself. So anyways, I'm gonna keep reading. I could even finish this tonight, and then we gotta talk about the next levels of hell.
If I would, I even stood a chance, and I know I shouldn't ask, but I really want you bad now. I've been thinking about topics to talk about, to sort it out and make it right in my head. Now that it's been longer, know that I was wrong for take me. I'm just living life, I guess a bottle wouldn't break me. Thinking about 1,000 reasons why you probably hate me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, quick check-in. It's so late. We were watching TV and earlier and James fell asleep on the couch, and so I am trying to fit in a quick little check-in with you guys in our room before I wake him. Because after he fell asleep, I dove back in. Oh my god. Head first. And let me tell you, what I said earlier, I meant, but I was giddy and kicking my feet towards the end of this book. I will say, the spicy scenes aren't the worst I've read. They're still slightly cringy. But with that being said, and there's too much of it, I will say that. Like, it's kind of overkill at a point. But the last, like, quarter of this book, oh my god. I still can't think of a word to use for what Phantasma is. But one of the, like, I'm just gonna say games. One of the games that they have to play at the end, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have seen the show Traitors, but they, at the end of the Traitors show, it's like a reality TV show if you don't know, but like all of them are faithfuls, and then there's usually like a few traitors that are, you know, it's kind of like Heads Up 7-Up if you ever played that in school. You had to go and like put somebody's thumb down, and then secretly sit back down, and that person had to like guess who did it. It's pretty much like that. Like the whole season, they're like doing these quests and stuff to like earn money, and they have to vote at the end to like kick traitors out. I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of that vibe a little bit, but in this sense, they are told like truths and lies. So it's like truth and lies, and you have to pick truth or lies. There's like, you know, obviously more to it than what Late Night Alley can like, you know, talk about. But, and if you get it wrong, it's like very brutal. That whole scene, if you read this book, changed the game for me. I was like, okay, this is doing something for me. And then just the reveal that we got towards the end, which I'm not gonna lie, I felt like there was something up. I felt like there was something that we didn't know yet. And I also was wondering like how they were going to segue us into the next book. I still don't really know. I feel like it kind of tied up loose ends, so part of me thinks, is the next one about her sister? God, I hope not. Nothing wrong with her sister, but like, ugh. I love a good, like, trilogy that, like, sticks with the same people, you know? And I like these two so much that, like, I want more, you know? There's parts of me that didn't expect what happened. There's parts of me that knew that something had to, like, come, you know, come of it. And then everything that unfolded after that. But I was giddy and I was kicking my feet. And I just read the acknowledgements. She literally says, oops, I have this cover on backwards, my bad. To my angel of an agent. An angel grew on me for a certain reason, but you have to read the book to find out why. For believing in this story from the moment I pitched it to you. Knowing exactly the vibe I meant when I said grown up Danny Phantom meets Gothic New Orleans. Did I call that, or did I call that? I loved it. 5 stars. You know, there was a lot of stuff towards the beginning that like wasn't setting at a 5-star for me, but here I am, and I'm so excited. I am obviously, I didn't even bring my phone. I am obviously too tired to start another book tonight, but the next 2 levels of hell, I know one of them, oh, okay, yeah. One of them, I just don't know which one, is a grumpy character. And one of them is, I just had it and it slipped out of my mind. Oh my god. I'm losing it. It's the cover pick. Hear me out. This is the book I've been wanting to get to for a really long time because I've just heard the most, like, I feel like I know this book because I've heard all the unhinged stuff about it. But, like, I want to experience it. And, like, even the people that I think not in a million years would they enjoy a book like that, they love it. And they're, like, so giddy and they're just like, is it the best book ever? No. But, like, the time reading it is so much fun that I'm like, I have to experience that. And I'm talking about Lights Out by that... Is it Navessa Allen? I think. I'm pretty sure it's a series too. I think there's like 3 books. I think the newest one I think is just now coming out. I do have a copy of it, just not with me right now. So I will show you guys tomorrow. Apparently, I've seen that it's grumpy sunshine, I think. I think that's one of the tropes. And it also... Listen, is the cover pick, like, is it like an all-time favorite? No. But I will say, I think it's a cute cover. I think that they're kind of unique and different. Obviously, like, not like my, like, all-time, like, favorite. I think there's much prettier covers out there. But listen, we're doubling up on prompts here because I am reading yet again another thick book. So we will talk about it more tomorrow. I'm exhausted, you guys. My phone was in my pocket the whole time. My back pocket. Literally laying here with it in my pocket. So levels 5 and 4. Oh my gosh. We're making progress. Grumpy character and cover pick. So I was correct. But this is the cover of Lights Out. I do have the audiobook, but I do have the physical. So I'm kind of in the mood for like an actual physical read, so I don't know how much of the audiobook I will listen to, but it is there if I want it. I'm already concerned. The main character, I just listened to like the first like couple paragraphs, and the main female character, her name is Allie. I don't know if this is gonna be good for me or not, but especially listening to somebody talk about it, because I'm just gonna be like, they're talking about me. Oh my god, that sounded so pick-me. So far, I've gathered that she is a nurse or works in like a hospital or something. Anyways, good night.
Silence between words I try to tie in a text and a call and a driving on top of it all. You were right, I was wrong, you were right. Maybe I'm tired. I've been putting on
I forgot how much I love this lipstick. It is one of the L'Oreal Paris ones. I've used this one so much that like it's called Nonchalant. But the little thing is like wearing off. Okay, I look like a hot mess. I tried to put myself together a little bit. Definitely growing out the roots. I will say I do have one of those like hair makeup pots from the same brand that I buy my hair dye from, which is A Good Dye Young. And I'm thinking about, while I'm letting the roots start to grow out some more, I can put that in there. It'll just be like full on red again for a bit. I'm thinking about it because they're looking horrendous, and I don't know, I don't have the mental capacity right now to commit to what I want to do with my hair. I have to think on it some more. But I am here for a check-in because it's been a minute since I left you guys. It's been busy. We are getting a new vehicle, and that's been like really back and forth. We're trying Carvana for the first time, so They're supposed to deliver us our Jeep on Valentine's Day. So that will be interesting. So yeah, I've been trying to like clean the car out, which James is going to be taking over to like drive to work and stuff, and then we'll have like the Jeep as our new like family car. I'm so excited. I've wanted a Jeep Renegade for a long time, and it's like the perfect one. We had another one that we were looking at on Carvana, and it was described as, I want a black vehicle. I'm like, I'm done with white. I want a black vehicle. So I found a black Jeep Renegade, and like it checked all the boxes, everything that we wanted. And they were like, we're just doing the detailing and then we're going to take the photos and post them. We literally like reserved it, everything, put like a deposit down on it, everything. They detailed it and then posted the photos, and it was white. Don't get me wrong, beautiful. I love the Jeep Renegades. My grandparents have a gray one that I've used a few times, and I love it. But I'm the type of person that I get a car and like I drive it until it's like, it's very loved. I drive it for a long time. So I'm like, I want what I want, you know? So I was like, no, we're gonna have to switch our deposit to something else, because I wanted a black Jeep Renegade. And we finally found the one. It's black. Not just that, but like it's all blacked out. Like the like grill thing in the front that is sometimes like silver or different colors on the cars, it's blacked out. The rims on the tires are blacked out. Oh, it's so nice. I wish all 4 windows were tinted, but the 2 back ones are. But anyways, I'm excited for that. It's gonna be kind of like our Valentine's Day gift. Although I did get James, I forgot what they're called. They're like these cup things. When we were out, I did get him a Stranger Things t-shirt, but I already gave it to him early. Kind of like a cup holder, like cooler thing. A Frost Buddy, that's what it is. He wanted a Frost Buddy, so I got him like the biggest Frost Buddy. I think it gets here today, so probably get that to him early too. But yeah, and then we're kind of doing the Jeep for each other, and then it's so funny because it's about to be Valentine's weekend, and I am going on 2 different dates, but with my girlfriends. We're doing some Galentine's dates. So I told James, I'm like, I'm going out with this friend on Friday night, and then Saturday we have to stay home practically all day waiting for the Jeep, and then Sunday I'm going on another date with another girlfriend. So I'm like, we're gonna have to like plan our date later this month. So yeah, that's what's currently going on in my life. Also, we're getting a new couch and a love seat from my grandparents. It's their old one that they had, and then they gave it to my dad, and then he used it for a hot minute, and then it's been in storage because they are using something else and they don't want them anymore. And me and James have always loved them, so we're like, yes, we want them, and they're red. They're so beautiful. So we ordered a new rug to put down in the living room to go with it. We are moving our sectional and the rug that we have there downstairs to the family room, and like retiring old Bessie, the old couch. And yeah, just a lot has been going on. I also moved books around in the living room, so like I have a new horror shelf, and I've moved where my Stephen King shelves are gonna be at to go kind of like with the vibe that we're wanting for the living room with the new couches. So it's just been a lot, bear with me. But I am happy to report that I have been reading, and I flew through the next one. I didn't really give you guys the synopsis for Lights Out, and I didn't even show you it. This was for a grumpy character and the cover pick. Again, not my all-time favorite cover, but I mean, it's cool. It's a dark romance like you've never seen before. Can you handle the ride? Oh my god. Now that I've read it, it's like, I want someone with a soul as black as night, someone who will burn the world down for me and not lose a single minute of sleep over it. I want things most people don't, craving darkness and depravity instead of light and love. My goodness. So this is about trauma nurse Ali Capelusi? I don't know. She doesn't need any more kinks. She likes the one she's landed on just fine. To her, nothing could stop the masked men she follows online. She fantasizes about one man in particular hunting her down, but she never could have guessed that one drunken text could make those dreams into reality. This girl works at the hospital as a trauma nurse. She sees trauma after trauma. She has trauma in her past with an accident involving her mother, and the only downtime that she has that she's giddy for is when this random masked man on TikTok posts his weekly videos. And she's obsessed with them to a point where she makes an alt account so she can comment things like, I wish that you would hunt me down, and things like that. Meanwhile, said masked man, Josh Hammond, has spent his life avoiding the limelight, but his online persona is another story. At night, he posts masked thirst traps for his millions of fans, and one follower has caught his eye. Allie. Together, Allie and Josh live out their darkest fantasies, unaware that Allie has captured the attention of someone with far more sinister intentions. As Josh turns from predator to protector, that sounds so bad, he must ask himself how far he'll go for the woman he's obsessed with. Listen, this has been on my TBR for so long because I was just like, I had seen the spoilers. I'm not gonna say it. It's the thing with the knife. That's all I'm gonna say, because if you're under a rock and you don't know about it yet, I would be shocked because I feel like it's been everywhere, especially like when this became like really popular. I was like, you know, I just want to like try more dark romance, and then I got into Bren Weaver's The Blackbird, or Butcher and Blackbird, those books, and I was like, you know, I think dark romance is for me. So I wanted to try more, and this one was like the top one that I wanted to get to. And then I even seen people that like I never thought were going to like this, like it, and rate it highly. I was like, I have to get to it. So I did order it from a Pango book shop. And I had quite the time. What I will say, you guys, I had a really hard time putting this down. Like, I just wanted to keep reading. I was cracking up laughing. I think the way that this author, Navessa Allen, which I found out through the afterward, or like the acknowledgements or whatever, that she made a TikTok saying, how cool would it be, or she's like, hear me out. A masked man breaks into a girl's home. It's dark romance, blah, 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 blah. And people were like, write it now. And so she did. And that's how this came to be, which is wild. But yeah, it goes down completely different than what I thought. I feel like in a good way, because it's a little bit more consensual, but at the same time, still creepy. And like, obviously in real life, no. But as a book, I feel like this is one that you kind of have to just look away from the flaws and the like very questionable things that these characters are doing. At the heart of this though, I actually really enjoyed Josh and Allie as characters by themselves and together. I feel like this author did really good at being funny and adding this humor to it that just made it a lot more appealing and easy to read. It's very fast-paced too, and really interesting in a way of being interested in what Allie's doing at work, being a trauma nurse. I found, you know, fun to read, but also what they're getting up to. That being said, this is very spicy. It's like bam, 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 like almost to a point where you're just like, we know. But that is why you're picking up this book. And that's what you should know getting into this, is that it's not gonna just be like a cute little rom-com. Like it's smut, it's spicy. And that's like the whole plot point here for like, I feel like 75% of this book. With that being said, that's where the story lost me. It took so long to get to anything else that when something actually happens that involves a life-changing experience for them where they're having to get help, we find out that Allie's family is part of the mob. And while it sounds fun, at the same time, it just wasn't really what I was wanting. It kind of was reminding me a little bit of like Finley Donovan, when it's just like they've taken it a little too far. And honestly, the whole storyline of that, I just started losing my attention span with it and was just, it's sad when I'm the one that's like, girl, bring back the smut. But I don't know. I obviously it needed to go somewhere. It needed to do something else, and I couldn't tell you what. But I was not expecting a mob story and whole incident to happen. That's for sure. With that being said, I am landing at a 4-star. I am rating it highly. I did enjoy it. I will more than likely continue the series, although I think just like the last book I read, that this is going to be a continuation but with new characters, which kind of sucks. And I don't see as good of reviews on the second one on this one, and I'm pretty sure it's following one of the people in the mob. So I don't know if I'm going to really like it. It's also not one that I'm like, I have to pick it up right now. Like, I can wait. I'm good. Maybe it'll be another readathon, like, pick. I am excited to have another one down. Today, I am reading, because tomorrow is the last day of this readathon, you guys, and I still have 3 prompts, I think. The next one is, I think the next one anyways, is Include the Dog. And then the one after that is, a genre that you love or something like that, which obviously is horror. But I also really love manga. And I have read this before, but I've been wanting to dabble back into my manga. And I was trying to commit to One Piece, but I think I'm going to start with a series that doesn't have as many volumes. So I am rereading Chainsawman. And it just kind of goes with this readathon, with like the direction I'm going, because this is not safe for work. It does get a little spicy in times, and it's very adult. But this does feature a dog. It's actually a little devil dog that has a chainsaw in his head, and he stumbles into Denji, I think is his name, our main character, and they kind of become buddies, and they're looking out for each other, and they make like a life pact, like, as a devil you can take over my body if I die type of ordeal. And in the meantime, he's trying to pay off his father's debt that he's left him by killing devils with his dog Devil. And the very beginning, he ends up getting killed, and the dog takes over him, so he becomes Chainsawman, and that's the whole point of this. But it does go a lot more than just that. I read a little bit today. I definitely want to get through this one to fill those last 2 prompts. Be a fun, easy reread. And then tomorrow for the last day, I have a couple of books in mind, but I will check in with you guys then to let you know what I end up choosing.
We can talk through it all, pick me up, and fall, pick me up.
Okay, listen, I too wanted to check in with you guys in a different location. I am so sorry. I know we need like more change of scenery, but I am currently doing a load of laundry, and it's just so loud in there right now because of that. So I thought I would check in with you guys. It has been a day, and it's the last day of this readathon, so it's like crunch time. I was gonna check in with you guys earlier, but I was like, any downtime that I have today, I want to be reading so that I can like complete my 9 levels of hell and escape. With that being said, yesterday I did finish Chainsawman, the first volume. This is a reread, like I said. So I did want to check in and then let you guys know what I'm currently reading now. So this, I am excited to have reread it. I am going to be continuing the series. I will say that first. With that being said, my rating of this has changed. I don't really know where my mindset was at reading this back when I did. And I can't remember what I gave it. I gave it like a 4 or a 5. I know it was a high rating though, where I am now landing at a 3-star. It kind of just feels like this author was like, I'm gonna write this really cool story about this boy who befriends a devil and then like hunts other devils, and then he becomes a devil. And it's so cool, and like the whole storyline of it is really cool, like cool concept. But at the same time, he's like, and I'm gonna make this boy as horny as possible. And like this guy just like, I feel like every other word that comes out of his mouth is boobs, you know? He wants to fill some boobs. And it just, it's not that like I'm opposed to the horniness, it's just the way it's done is kind of cringe, and I kind of wish it was less of the dialogue than like what we're getting. And you know, like he'll be like about to fight an actual devil and he's like, boobs. Yeah, so unfortunately I am degrading my rating of this. I will still say like imagery, like illustration and everything, 10 out of 10. It's so good. And I'm excited to see at least like where this series goes. I know it does end up getting sexual, so I'm like, maybe like he'll get it out of his system. And it won't be like as intense. Just to kind of give you guys the rundown of kind of more what goes into this and what to expect in the future of the series. I've made it, I think, like 3 volumes in, and I can't remember how many there are. But this does have a dog in it. It is the little chainsaw dog, and he takes over Denji's body when he dies. But then Denji is kind of like captured by this organization of devil hunters to put him in a squad of like experimental people. He has kind of like a rough encounter meeting the guy who runs it, who is not really okay with him because he's just like, he's a devil, like we should just kill him, you know? And they're like, well, he is part devil, part human. So they're letting him live, but like even our main girl, I don't want to like mispronounce her name, Makima, could be mispronouncing that, but she is our like person who's kind of in charge of them and is putting him with who she thinks he should be with in like a squad of devil hunters. And then he ends up meeting Power, who is an unhinged, well, first of all, he goes to this place to defeat this devil, and it turns out it's a fiend, and he learns what that is. It is devil that's taken over a person's corpse, but they have like odd deformities to them. So in Power's case, she has devil horns and very razor sharp teeth, and she is a part of the squad, and Denji meets her and he's like, oh, like it's another devil, but it's a fiend. And she is, it's cool because the devil that consumed her corpse was like the devil of blood, where like Denji's is the devil of chainsaws. So she just like wants blood, like she smells blood, she wants blood, she's like, where's the next devil, because I need blood, type of ordeal. And so she kind of just flies off the handle. She's very spontaneous and wild, and I love her, so I'm excited to see where the storyline goes with her in the future. But yeah, that's kind of my wrap up on this and completing 2 more prompts. So the last one is one more book. Today I had Axel's Valentine's school party first thing this morning. So in between, or before that and then after that, I have been reading and flying through the Literally Dead Book Club's pick for February. How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates. It's like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, but it's How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates. And oh my gosh, you guys, I'm eating this up. This is by Shailee Thompson. I will give you guys a brief read of the synopsis. Actually, I'm still reading it. I'm afraid the synopsis is going to give way too much away. So I will say this. The setup that we have with this is we have our main character, Jamie, who her and her friend Lori are going to speed dates. Backstory is Jamie is writing, she's going to school and she's writing a paper or something on horror films, the genre in general, slashers. So she's very like horror mindset, and she is going on speed dates with her friend at this like little function that's going on at like this bar. And she gets there, she's speed dating, and that's the whole beginning of the book, is like all these speed dates, we're meeting like all these different people, and then the lights cut out, and when they come back on, the date across from her, his throat is and so the rest of it so far has been them trying to figure out how to get out and escape this place, which it's kind of wild because you would think like, you know, they walked in, yes, their phones were taken for the speed dating, so they're not with their phones. They're scared because they don't know where the killer is at, so they have to navigate back through to try to get phones to get help. And you have all these people and it's like, who can you trust? And she's breaking down all the rules for a horror movie and a slasher and like what you do and don't do. Think like Scream. And it's just been so fun. I will say when I started it, at first I was like, this girl is unbearable. I don't like her. I'm still not a huge fan, but the story in general is growing on me more, and I like things about her. I like her obsession with horror and the slasher genre. I like all of the mentions. It's reminding me a lot of Jay Daniels from My Heart is a Chainsaw, who is also obsessed with slashers and horrors, and like her day-to-day life, she is bringing up slashers and horrors. Like she can make a reference to them at the drop of a hat. And Jamie is doing the same thing. And so yeah, they're trying to navigate this. There's been a lot more bloodshed. It is a full-on slasher. It's romance, horror, comedy, and we need more of this. We need more of these genres colliding because it's such a fun time. I don't really see this being a 5-star unless the ending like really blows me away, but it's still gonna be a highly rated book just because I'm enjoying my time so much with it, and it's just something refreshing and different. On top of all of the different horror movie and slasher movie mentions, there's also the beginning of every chapter. I wish like crazy I had a physical of this. I did forget to mention that. I used one of my book of the month credits on the audiobook, so I don't have a physical of this book. I will be getting a physical, even if it's not a 5-star, because of the horror mentions, but also the beginning of every single chapter is a quote from either a horror slasher movie or a rom-com, but they twist the words into like horror things. Like instead of love, they're gonna use murder or kill or something along those lines.
I suppose I think about murder more than anyone really should. I'm constantly amazed by its sheer power to alter and define our lives. Not The Holiday.
So that one was a quote from The Holiday, the rom-com, like Christmas movie, but it changes out the words and then says not from, like from not The Holiday. It's just like a fun little like touch to it. I'll slow it down a little bit so maybe you guys can hear it better, but...
Fair. I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life killing somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible. Not When Harry Met Sally.
So that one's from When Harry Met Sally, but instead of love, it's kill. It's just so fun.
This is the type of girl he wants to murder. This is what I need to become to be slaughtered. Not Legally Blonde.
They're so funny, and they've been so many. There was a Wedding Singer one, which is my, like, probably my top favorite rom-com movie. And there was also a Brokeback Mountain one that was hilarious. But I am flying through this book. I have to re-find my spot since I just changed where I was at. But I'm loving it. The last thing I want to say before I finish and wrap this up for you guys is the characters' names. Like, this author not only is taking on a slasher rom-com, but they are also mentioning slashers and rom-coms, like iconic ones, and quoting them. Yes, it's very pop culture, contemporary. I could do a little bit without like the contemporary romance. That's throwing me off a little bit. The romance isn't cringy, but there's just still something to it that I'm having to get used to it more and more. It is growing on me though. But I think the contemporariness of it is like taking me out a little bit. Because I'm not really a big fan of contemporary romance. But with that being said, I think it's working more since it is so genre bending with everything going on that it just works a lot more for me. But she did all of those things, and then on top of that, she named every character after somebody in these genres that is, again, iconic. And I love that so much. I feel like if you're not a slasher or horror movie person, you're not gonna catch on to these, but they're so good. So our main character, not only is her name Jamie, like Jamie Lee Curtis, there's actually a character named Lee, there's a character named Curtis, so it plays out her whole name, but Jamie's last name is Prescott, Jamie Prescott, so Prescott from Sidney Prescott from Scream. Stay with me. Her best friend is Lori. So Lori is Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. One of them is Wes, which I really like Wes. Wes Carpenter. It's a play on not only John Carpenter, which there is a guy named John in this book, but also Wes Craven. So John Carpenter, he made or directed the Halloween franchise, where Wes Craven's did most of the Scream franchise. So good. There's also like characters named Billy and Stu, like iconic characters from the first Scream movie. There's a Jennifer, a nod to Jennifer's Body. There's a Danny, which is a nod to Midsummer. Colette, which I'm pretty sure is a nod to Hereditary. And then Campbell, which is a nod to Neve Campbell, who plays Sidney Prescott in Scream. Anyways, so cool. I'm going to finish it, and then I will be checking back in with you guys when I do so. It may end up being kind of late because I am going to the movies tonight with my friend. We're gonna go see the new Dracula movie, and I'm so excited. My first Valentine's date for the weekend, and yeah, so it's a busy day. It's like school functions because it's the last day before the weekend, and they're doing all their Valentine's Day stuff today, and then on top of that, going out with a friend tonight, and then it's the end of Jante's Inferno, so a lot's going on. Bear with me, but I will check in to let you guys know where I ended up landing with this book.
Sorry about that text you got, I didn't ever mean to send it. So you got me in my feelings, also fuck autocorrect. And I've been doing fine, except the stabbing pain up in my chest. And I'm stuttering, okay, I'm done. But now you're gone again. I'll take all your issues, you can have my friends. I don't miss seeing or miss you on my phone screen. Now I save the tissues that you bought me from a nosebleeds. I don't think about you, but it don't sleep. Gone again. I'll take all your issues, you can have my friends. I don't miss seeing or miss you on my phone screen. Now I save the tissues that you bought me from a nosebleeds. I don't think about you, but it don't sleep. Summer days, don't miss your taste. Out in the crawl space, wanna break, still see your face. I just don't wanna be a missing case. Why can't you play? Keep up at my pace, stay awake, stay awake. It's what they all say.
I'm shot, really not what you wanna scream about. I out, metaphor, cause you wanna bite back. Know you got it in me, but my comments on the side that.
What you wanna talk about?
What you tryna get at?
Lyrical on the boat, miss my RT. Hit 'em all like a joke, man, it's all I fear. Catch 'em all, fuck 'em all, so bright idea. Never heard a ringtone, but now you're gone again. I'll take all your issues, you can have my friends. I don't miss seeing or miss you on my phone screen. Now I save the tissues that you bought me from a nosebleeds. I don't think about you, but it don't sleep. Gone again. I'll take all your issues, you can have my friends. I don't miss seeing or miss you on my phone screen. Now I save the tissues that you bought me from a nosebleeds. I don't think about you, but it don't sleep. Some days I don't miss your taste, but some nights fall on my face. It's alcohol without all the chase. I get away without a heartbreak. You in the city, you're out of state. Chase you from out, but can't keep up pace. I left your backpack with your phone on the staircase.
1 a.m., eyes closed, I'm slowly falling to the music and the atmosphere. Now and then, I feel lights fading softly all over me, and I remember last year when
I am back, you guys. It has been a day. I wanted to check in to finish out the readathon. So there's a couple things to talk about. It is rather late, so I do have to keep it down a little bit. I did finish How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates. It continued to just kind of be a fun, silly time. Certain characters definitely grew on me more as the book went on, and our main character, Jamie, she became less and less annoying, although there's certain like horror movie cues that I feel like just went right over her head and she missed. I still don't quite understand if she is like the horror fanatic that she says she is. I like how fast paced it was and how easy it was to read it in a day. Just keeping it on while doing, you know, things around. I did have to take breaks, but she just keeps interrupting, don't you? You just want to be in the camera. You don't act like it now. Pretty girl. You just want to know what's going on. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say because while it is like a slasher rom-com, it still gives off like almost like thriller vibes where it would be so spoilery to say like anything more than what I did at the beginning. And I feel like I kind of touched all the bases on like all of the little quirky things about the book that as a slasher fan myself really enjoyed that touch to it, and to that extent to where I want my own copy of the book. And I wish like crazy I had one to actually show you guys the pages, and I can't wait to even see what the pages look like and the different quotes and everything, because they were just so good. I'm just having such a hard time. I like having like a day to like simmer on my ratings, or if I finish it, having a little bit of time to maybe like sleep on it, get up the next day to film, you know, so I can really wrap my head around all of my thoughts, because I feel like I'm landing at a 4-star with this, but I also feel like there's so many things about this that make it a 5-star for me that it's really hard to not boost it up to a 5-star. But in saying that, there's also so many things that like I could have done without. And while the reveal of who the slasher is, the killer is, was not bad in my opinion, I actually feel like they did a really good job at making it feel like a slasher movie. I still feel like it could have been even more insane, or even more I don't know, it was just missing something. I feel like it needed to be a little bit more unhinged than what it is. One thing I did forget to mention earlier is that the audiobook is fantastic. I mentioned that I got it through Book of the Month. Still wish you could turn the speed up a little bit more. It's wild that you can't on their app, but the audiobook is phenomenal, and it has like sound effects. It's not one of those like graphic audios where it's like all the way through it. It's just a regular narration all the way through, and there is 2 narrators back and forth. I really liked the woman narrator. I guess I could look up and see who it is for you guys. That's also really weird that like it doesn't say it on the Book of the Month. It is narrated by Stephanie K and Patrick Zeller. If you're familiar with either one of them, I think that she did a great job. Although definitely made, I feel like Jamie the character, like she really brought to life an annoying character, I guess, if you will. So I don't know, maybe it was her voice that made the character a little bit more annoying, or how she said things made it a little bit more annoying. I don't know. But at the same time, I feel like reading it physically, I may have liked the character a little bit more, but I think I still would have found her somewhat irritating at times. I will say though, no offense to the guy narrator on this, he did a phenomenal job, but his voice was just, it sounds a little bit older than what I feel like I pictured Wes's voice to sound like, and that really threw me off for like any of the like romance bits. But the sound effects, there is sound effects like sprinkled throughout. It's usually like when an actual like killing is taking place, like they won't be able, it'll be like right around the corner and she'll hear like a squish like sound or something, and it's like a knife going into somebody or something like that, and it's just those sound effects that you hear. Like I said, it's not all the way through. It is nowhere near like a graphic like audio situation, but I will say there was a couple times that I kept forgetting was gonna happen and a sound effect would happen. I think there was like maybe like a door closing or something. I don't even know. I jumped, like it scared me because I completely forgot that there was sound effects throughout. So it is like a little jumpy, but I also feel like it kind of adds a little bit to the intense feeling of reading a book like that. I feel like with the reveal and just the fast-paced speed, it really felt like a thriller. You had the slasher horror vibes with the gory scenes. They weren't like too over the top, but were definitely there. And also have the rom-com, which I really do think that she did a really good job. I didn't really find any of it to be that cringy. I feel like there was maybe like a couple of dialogue moments that I was just like, oh, okay, you know, but besides that, I think she set out to do something really cool. I feel like for slasher lovers, and adding her own twist of mixing in the rom-com in it, and it's phenomenal. I want to see more of those genres all colliding in future books for sure. With that being said, you guys, let's wrap up this readathon. I read 5 books for this readathon. Actually not bad. I think I actually read maybe like 6 books last year, so I did a lot better than what I thought I was going to do originally, but one of them was a manga, so I had a really good time. I will definitely be continuing the Phantasma series. The Lights Out, questionable. Let me know what you think about the second book if you've read it. Maybe even like the new one when it comes out, let me know. If that's something that I should. Maybe if I forget about it and another readathon like this pops up, I can use it for a prompt. Definitely would read more from Shailee Thompson in the future. Andy Davidson, questionable. Maybe if I had like somebody give me a really good recommendation that was a little bit more up my alley theme-wise. And we'll definitely be continuing Chainsawman. So with that being said, I did escape hell. I went through the 9 levels and had so much fun. Thank you to Jan for hosting this readathon. It is so creative and I love the prompts. If you joined, let me know what you read. I would love to know. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in my next video.
In my bed with all these thoughts in my head and living silently inside.
Look what James got me for Valentine's Day.
So late.
He said a bouquet of something that I would like. It's Chucky and Tiff.
Drifting away.
This is so cool. This is the first book he's ever like actually picked out for me.
About times I wished for a new
It's like just a stunning coffee table book.